Welcome to CPG Vibes. No script,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
All right, welcome to episode 111 of CPG Vibes. How's everyone doing on this fine Friday? We are here, and to my left and your right is Sir Wade Yenny. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Happy Friday, brother. How you doing?
Doing good. We're just crossing our fingers without jinxing it that we don't have any kind of audio trouble on this episode, because last week was a trip. We got through it, but literally, for those that didn't see last week's episode, the Master Series, in the first 10 minutes, audio cut out. It wasn't our side. It was StreamYard. We love StreamYard, but sometimes you screw up, but it's okay. We still love you. And I lost my audio. Wade lost his audio. No one could hear us. Took some time to get back, but we got back on the horse, and it was a great show last week.
I think we almost broke the internet last week, but yeah, and plus we've got all this, these gadgets around us now, right? We've got our sponsor we're going to talk about in a minute. We've got all these bells and whistles and fancy equipment. I mean, this is crazy, right?
It is a lot. Yeah, we're really trying to keep up with it all between the equipment, new sponsors, new things to mention. We're becoming a bona fide podcast. It took 2 years, but we got there, right?
Crawl, walk, run, Alex.
Crawl, walk, run. See, do you think we're in the walking phase? Are we beginning to run? What phase do you think we're in right now?
I would say we're at that point when the kid is walking, but he's stumbling a little bit, maybe falling down, and you know that. I mean, you know that with your son, right? As far as you take a couple steps and either falls or has to grab onto something. I think that's where we're at.
Okay, makes sense. So we're kind of starting to walk, a little bit of run, but stumbling, and that happens. So we really want to thank everyone for making last week's episode so successful. It was the Master Series with Chris Hunter, John Foraker, Rachel Robb, and Nick Mendel. We got nearly 200 people live at one time on that episode last week, and it went extremely well, and it was so much fun, and we learned so much. So thank you, everyone, for making that a success. And Wade and I, we held it together, so it worked. It worked.
It did.
Yep.
And it's all uphill from here, right?
All uphill. And hopefully there's a downhill somewhere at the top of the uphill. We'll see. We'll see. So first off, just want to say that we are, just to re-announce, because we always do this, we are now the #1 rated CPG podcast in North America. So thank you all for that. We've held that position. We got the position. We're holding the position, and we'll continue to hold that position. I guarantee it. And we also have sponsorship and block rates available. The sponsorships are filling up very fast. They're booked basically going into May now, and May's almost filled up. And you can get 5, 10, 20% off by booking in blocks, meaning more than one episode at a time. And that's a good idea, right, Wade? Because marketing is about repetition, getting in front of someone a couple times, a couple hundred times if you want. So make sure to get block rates, and you get a savings on that and more exposure for your brand.
Right on.
Right on. And so also, and then we have the email we're going to post there, cpgvibes100@gmail.com, if you'd like to be a sponsor on our show. We make sure to give us 5 stars. Go to Apple Podcast to do that. We currently are at 228. I don't think it's going to be a while until we catch up to that, Wade, right, as far as episode numbers. Your fear, right?
We're not comfortable, though. We still have to encourage you to do that, right? But
exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully we've got some breathing room for a little while.
Yeah, what Wade's talking about, he's like, I hope that the number of episodes don't reach the amount of ratings we have. We're at episode 111. We have 228 ratings, but let's keep on giving us those 5 stars. And then we have a Slack channel now that a lot of back and forth there. A lot of the members are on there helping each other, networking, and that's cpgvibes.slack.com. And if you go to that website, you can send out to request to be part of our community. And unless you're Gavin Conkle, we will approve you. So, no, Gavin's already in there. Just kidding. I love you, Gavin. Just ribbing you. So, going into it, this week's sponsor is iCleanse, and we're going to talk more about their product. But essentially, again, we're going to talk more informally about it in the beginning. But essentially, it's a unit that cleans your cell phone, and it's for corporate offices, it's for movie theaters, it's in a lot of places, and you can have it literally at your office or wherever, your place of work. And it cleans your phone, and it has advertisements on there too. Am I explaining this right?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. And for those of you, again, I like to say this just to make sure those that are jumping on the podcast haven't been on recently or forgot. We are going to have a prize at the end of the show, and it will be from the sponsor iCleanse. And this is really cool. I mean, usually we don't do this. We don't tell you about the prize ahead of time, but they're going to send one of these units that these phone disinfectant units to lucky winner, and they'll get to use it for 60 days. And this thing is a $5,000 value. But it's so hopefully we want someone to win this that is in office building, or gift it to someone who's in an office building, or a retail account, a grocery retail account, some kind of where it's going to have a lot of usage. But the way you win this prize is we're going to talk about something somewhere during this episode. At the end of the episode, we'll ask a question. Hopefully, you've paid attention to the conversation throughout, and whoever answers the question correctly first will win the prize. And this is very cool. It's a customized demo unit for 60 days with unlimited disinfection for staff or customers. So, really cool prize.
When it comes to disinfecting, I never complain about that. I got my sanitizers around me at all times, literally both pockets, in both cars, every room in the house, you name it. So that's speaking my language. So iCleanse, thank you for sponsoring this episode. And we have our ongoing sponsors. And again, we're going to talk more towards the end about the full details on them, but we can definitely at least give it a little bit of verbiage on it. Again, bear with us. It's a little bit of a longer intro with some new sponsors, but our newest sponsor, and we announced it on LinkedIn yesterday, is Range Me, and we're really, really proud to have them on board. And Range Me helps brands drive awareness and engagement with retailers through an easy to use platform that has more than 15,000 buyers. What's great about this is that if you'd like to be part of Range Me, if you're a brand and you'd like to get on there and get connected with retailers and get into their stores, there is a CPG Vibes exclusive discount. So if you go on and do Range Me Premium or Pro subscriptions, there are discounts, and you have to put in the CPG Vibes code, and we'll have more information on that. And there's even in-person meetings with ECRM, and ECRM is joined at the hip with Range Me. And we have the link right there for those that are listening. It's rangeme.com slash, you can just, I can shorten it for you, rangeme.com slash CPG Vibes, plural. And we'll talk more about that. And also, you can see in the bottom left corner, there's a QR code. You can just scan it and go right to that landing page. Our other ongoing sponsor, and then we're going to get down to business here, Wade, is V-Driven, a leading consulting and brand management firm specializing in strategic guidance and brand representation for emerging and mid-sized CPG brands. They understand the importance of cash flow, so make sure they are offering a 25% off their first month. CPG Vibes 25 is the redemption code, and essentially they do master sales, accounting, trade spend deduction management. They do it all a la carte. They're an amazing, robust service organization. So make sure to go to vdriven.com for that. Okay.
Yeah, so what's really cool about that, not to dwell on the sponsors, but it's cool because this is the first time that we've actually had discount codes for our audience. So and you can gift those. It's not doesn't have to be someone's just listening live on the show now or watching live. It could be you're listening later. You could tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell whoever. Use the code CPG Vibes for both Range Me and V-Driven, and you'll get a discount, which is significant. When you're emerging brand, you're bootstrapped, and you need to watch your pennies. That's the way to go. So it's very, very cool.
Exactly. And I'll, not to one up you, but that discount code, while it helps you immensely, it also helps us, wink, wink, because it tells our sponsors we're doing our job. We're sending people over to them. We're helping each other. And so that's also important to show that the the sponsorship is worth it, right? So make sure to include that code for your benefit and also for ours. Wade, we're going back to the roots, right, on this show, right? We've had guests for the last few weeks and specials, but I think part of going back to the roots is shouting out comments. So we can go through some of these here. And then we're going to talk about some different topics and newswire items. But let's just go through some of these comments because that's why the beauty of being live. We can shout out comments and people can respond to them. So Rich Moniz, Rich Insights. Got the Tumblr right here. Thank you, my man, for sending that. Happy Friday, everyone. Sean Berg, SMB Sales, happy weekend. Rachel Robb, who was on our show last week under the Master Series, she freaking crushed it. I don't usually use the word crushed it, but she freaking crushed it last
I
week.
thought you were going to say you don't usually use the word freaking, but either way, she did crush it. You're 100%. I used the hashtag GOAT for Rachel because she's the greatest of all time. So, yeah, she
100%.
killed it last week. Yep.
Totally. And she says, nothing better than Fridays and CPG Bez. Okay. And she corrected it. There we go. Thank you for correcting it. And here we go. It's from you. Rich Moniz, I pictured you saying that like Joker and Batman. And here we go. Okay. It's
Right.
my impression of
Nice.
that's the Heath Ledger Batman, by the way. Or Joker. Frank Giuliano. And for those of us running startup companies and driving growth, happy Monday. For us, every day has been a Monday for the last few quarters. Joe Tarnowski with ECRM, happy Friday. Gavin Conkle, new start. Yep. Notice we have our new video start that Wade and I recorded when he was out here for Expo. Jeannie Gregory, nice, well done. And then a couple in the chat before the show starts and to refresh the page. Okay, that's a little first world problem there. Dima Moraru, happy Friday. And we have some others we'll get to as we go through the show. So again, this is the no script, just chat part. But first off, there is the show in Canada that's happening right now, I believe in Toronto, which is the CHFA. And I saw a post where Margaret Coons at Nuts for Cheese got some kind of award at CHFA. But if you're there or going, or you're planning to go there, or you've attended in the past, let us know your comments on that show. Wade, I don't know anything about this show more than what Robert Kogan has told me.
I was
So,
just going to say our buddy Robert Kogan is busy up there with that show, and I know
yep.
it's he says it's a very very important show, and more and more we're seeing a lot of brands come from Canada. I've obviously Midday Squares you mentioned, Nuts for Cheese, but there's just so many good products coming out of Canada right now, so it makes perfect sense that there's a show up there. I don't know that it's an expo. I have no idea. It could be. It could be Canada's version of an expo, but maybe it's something that when Robert's on the show, I think at some point he's going to sponsor a future episode. It might be on himself that he can tell us a little bit more about it. But sounds definitely worthwhile checking out to see what the possibilities are. I know Robert's been pretty passionate about the opportunities in Toronto as far as the size of the market, and that the high end retailers up there are thirsty for new brands, not just beverages. Just using that word, but it sounds like there are some eager customers up there, and there may be some misconceptions with regards to the legalities or formalities of bringing product into Canada. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, something to check out.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspiring U.S. brands that are obviously starting to push into Canada, and the fact that certain regions or provinces they call them up there, require bilingual. I think maybe all of them do, right? I'm not sure the legalities around it, but having bilingual packaging and certain regulations, and yet there's certain numbers you have to get issued for the
Right.
products there. It has a certain name to it, and it's really particular in Canada. But obviously, they have Loblaws, they have Sobeys, they have some Whole Foods up there. They also have Costco, and there's one brand, a notable brand that I want to talk about, which is called Cove Kombucha. Have you heard of these guys?
I've heard of it, but I have not had it.
It's interesting. So they're up, as far as I know, they're up in Canada, and they have one of the best-selling kombuchas in Canada in Costco, and they made it very big in Costco. This week, and I saw it on the news wire. They launched Cove Soda, which is like a competition to Poppy and Olipop,
Mm.
and they went into 8 warehouses. This is what I read: 8 warehouses of Costco in the U.S. with their brand from Canada into the U.S. Cove Soda. So that's kind of cool. They made their way down here, but they stayed for years in Canada. And Midday Square stayed for I think at least 2 or 3 years, right? I think two
Yeah,
years
I think that's right.
before they launched into Sprouts with their really crazy video. Remember, like with the war or whatever? It was interesting. Um,
Right.
Make sure when you Google CHFA, make sure to put Canada in there because when I put CHFA, I got California Housing Finance Agency. I don't think that's the show, right? I doubt it.
I don't think so.
No.
I know Deem is on here and Rich is on here. Maybe one of those two could put the link up for what that is. So
Yeah, for sure. I see it chfa.ca. That is the correct link, and I'll put it here. The other thing to talk about, and I'm going to punch it in right there, so it should come through, is going to be Newtopia Now. Someone commented for us to talk about Newtopia Now, which I'm confused, Wade. So maybe it's just been a long week and I'm not thinking clearly. Didn't have my mud water yet, but I first read that it was in like somewhere Savannah, Georgia,
yeah,
and
originally
then
it
now
was
it's in
supposed to be Savannah.
Colorado,
It was
right?
correct. It was supposed to be Savannah, but I believe if I remember correctly, the facility, the location they wanted to use was undergoing construction. It wasn't going to be completed in time
Uh,
to fit the show and the attendees, so they moved it to Denver, is my understanding.
yep. So it's in Denver. If you go to there's some websites here. We're going to find the exact one for Newtopia Now, but I took a look at it, Wade. I want to hear your thoughts on it, but I think and then we can if you have comments on it, they're really trying to cater this, from what I read and did research on, to be not as chaotic. So essentially, they want to have sections for different themed brands and different categories to make it easier for the buyers to connect with the brands. And then they're also going to have a portal where buyers can click through. And again, this may be a little inaccurate because it's just so new, where the buyers can click, and say, I'm looking for chips. And then boom, like a list of whatever chips are there come up. They can go through the profiles and they can click ahead of time and book meetings with these brands, either at their booth or a special meeting room. So it sounds like a more advanced version of an Expo West, or what formerly known as Expo East, which is now Newtopia Now. But what are your thoughts on just the program and what they're aiming to do?
So I'm looking at the website now, and I put a link up for everybody to kind of peek at what I'm peeking at. And I know Alex, you're a master of sharing the screen. Maybe you could do that. But it says 4 neighborhoods, infinite discoveries, like a show within a show. Each neighborhood has a vibe and vision all its own, from experiential environments to live on-site podcasting. What do we know about that, Alex? We might have to look at that. And a
A
full
little bit.
schedule of industry-focused content. There's something exciting to see and do at every turn. So the 4 neighborhoods are represent, and that's diverse products, founders, and ideas to celebrate. Thrive, which is the latest innovation shaping the future of human health. Regenerate, which is the products and business models making a positive environmental impact. And Glow, the new face of natural beauty and holistic wellness. So those are the 4 neighborhoods. Um, sounds interesting. So Ginny says, "Can you please turn the volume up on the mic?" All right. I can do that. Let's do that.
All right.
How's that, Jenny? Is that better?
Hopefully it
Alex, do I
is.
sound okay to you?
Yeah,
Good.
sound good to me. Yep.
Beautiful.
Compared to last week, this is a cakewalk. The fact that we can even
Right.
hear you is a cakewalk. So last week was pretty effed up. And by the
Hey,
way, in about 5 minutes, we're bringing on Chris Allen at iCleanse. You can win a unit that's going to be lent to you for a couple months, right? That's worth
60
5,000,
days.
60 days. What did I say?
Yep.
5 months,
You
60
said a
days,
couple months. Yeah.
couple months. Okay. Couple months, $5,000. I dyslexically mix those two together. And he's going to tell you all about that unit and how you can you can win it to be at your place for 2 months. So Wade, I'm going to be pulling up this link to share the screen. It's really interesting too. It's just kind of a search analytics where I cannot find for the life of me the page. I see like other pages promoting it, but now I see it. So I'm going to share the screen here because I want you guys also to see this. This is turning into a Google Meets Zoom presentation, right, Wade? So
Nice.
we don't want to bore
There it
people,
is.
but essentially this is it. Newtopia now, it's basically curated and catered. We won't, and and there's booths, right, that are for sale. Now the booths, if you hit exhibit, are just as expensive, as the ones that, there's minimal booths that are much smaller that are $7,000 or $8,000, and there's somewhere here, I think, under opportunities. But if you start going to the 10 by 10s, look, $13,000, 10 by 10, or $13,000. So the big thing that, you know, um, is going to be on my mind, okay, leading up to the show, I'll probably go to the show. A lot of people are going to go to the show. Is it really going to be a game changer and difference from everything else we've already seen? Is it a bunch of marketing to get people in, rebranding to get people in to reinstill excitement, or will it actually be more effective and more calculated and more organized for a return on investment than Expo East and Expo West? And we won't really know that until we go to the show. So are you going to go to
Right.
it, do you think?
It depends on hashtag work with Wade, where that's
we're
at,
going
and
we're going to be.
what I'm doing in August. Because right now, we haven't talked about this, and I know we're going to bring Chris on here in a minute. But as my last day here is next Friday, so as of that next week, my calendar is going to get pretty open. So I. I don't know. Depending on where I'm at, what I'm doing, I might be there. My advice would be, certainly depending on where you're at with your company with regards to, from a brand perspective, I probably would walk the show, unless you really have a pile of money to, that you can afford to not lose, but not get a big return on, until we have a better idea of how that looks. And just kind of see how things go. But I think the turnout will be better in Denver than it would have been in Savannah, especially in August, because Savannah
100%.
in August would have been sultry, to say the least.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. Catherine's asking when the dates are, and they are right there. And speaking of Robert, Robert, we were talking about CHFA, and you just came on a little bit late,
There
but
he is.
hopefully it's going well for you.
Yeah.
Um, Gavin's asking if there's a list yet, and I'm not seeing a list of who's there yet,
Yeah, I don't
unless
see
it's I
anything.
miss.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is still, I mean, we're in April right now, and then August we're talking is the
It says coming soon for
coming
the keynote
soon.
speakers, the special
Yeah.
activations, the exhibitors. They're all coming soon. So,
Yeah.
but you can register. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, still 4 months away, August 25th to 28th in Denver, Colorado, which makes sense. A lot of natural products have come out of Colorado, especially Boulder and also Denver. Hopefully they'll have their share of CBD products there as well, right? Given that's weed and CBD country. So we shall. There might be some green rooms there. There might be some green rooms. All
In
right.
more
So
ways than one.
more
Speaking
ways
of
than
green rooms, that's a good segue. That's a good segue to Chris.
let's do it. All right. So again, we're going to do just one more little mention about what iCleanse is, and basically, iCleanse. It's called iCleanse Swift UV. It's transforming. Move this over. The grocery experience by offering shoppers a swift 15-second smartphone disinfection service. I always think of that when my son grabs my phone. I'm like, I've been using that for the last 10 hours and God knows where it's been. At iCleanse, they're elevating the shopping experience. Again, these are in public places where they have these machines, marrying health, safety with engaging. This should be at Utopia now. Hopefully it is.
Yeah,
Placed
that's a good
there's
idea.
there's ads that's on this machine publicly, and it's bringing convenience, safety, and innovation to every aisle. And you can win one free customized unit demo you can get the unit itself for 60 days, $5,000 value for any of your events. So without further ado, we're going to put on some music here and bring on our guest here. And he's already dancing. We have Chris Allen with iCleanse. I'm really glad that we figured out the calendar invites. Our system sent him 20 invites for every week for the rest of the year, and his admin reached out, or someone at the company said, "Which one is it? Like, please just tell me which one should he show up at." But anyway, Chris, how you doing, my friend? Oh, you're on mute. Yeah, don't worry, it happens to the best of us.
Better?
There we go. All right, we can hear you
Welcome,
loud and
Chris.
clear. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
We are
Good,
doing
good.
great.
So
Yeah,
Chris,
yeah.
tell us. We read a little bit about iCleanse. Give us, tell the people that are watching or listening to this after the fact where the idea came from and why do they need it?
Yeah. So I'm a tech guy. I've been a tech guy through and through. My prior company was iDevices. And after I sold that, worked in corporate America for a little bit and then decided to acquire this company, which basically just did phone disinfection at that point in time. And number of patents around it. And when we acquired it, we were looking at redesigning the unit and making it more relevant. I got tired of having to sell a widget every day to make money. So what we did is we designed a public forward-facing kiosk that disinfects their phone in 15 seconds. And while we have their phone, we have their undivided attention, right? If I took your phone from you right now, you may not even give it to me, but if I took it from you, you'd be watching me like a hawk. And while we disinfect it during those 15 seconds, we have an 18-inch screen that's right above it, and we serve ads relevant to the location or national ads, depending on the location. And it's a great public service. We're seeing huge adoption. I'll give you one example. We're in Mohegan Sun casinos down here in Connecticut, and in 3 months, we've had over 30,000 disinfections in that one location. So it's definitely something that people know they need, right? If you think about, let's all be honest here. We can do potty talk, right? You take your you take your phone to some pretty gnarly places like the bathroom, the gym, TSA, the subway. All these different places. It's literally with you 24/7, and it harbors tons of different germs, viruses, bacteria. And while we don't wash it in water, this is all done using UVC light. We do kill 99.99% of all the bacteria and viruses on your phone. Um, so we do it for free. There's no cost to the consumer. We place them actually for free in various locations, and then we generate our revenue through the ad side of the model. So if you're a business, if you're an event coordinator, things like that, we're in a number of convention centers, airports, hotels, things along those lines.
Excellent.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's such a unique, different product you wouldn't think of. But I would say for our community, the CPG community, how would they benefit off of this? Like, who's your ideal customer for this type of product?
Great question. So, I mean, we're looking for places with high traffic, right? Number of people going through grocery, retail locations, high volume restaurants, different things like that, where we can do the advertising that makes sense. And for the advertisers, it's really a powerful tool because there's no advertisement that I've seen to date. The closest one I can think of is like Gas Pump TV, which love those guys, but they have your captive attention, but you still have your phone. We're the only advertiser in the country, in the world, that takes away that secondary device. And really, you should see people's anxiety set in as soon as it disappears, because go down a little elevator and it disappears. The eyes are like glued. Where'd my phone go? What's going on? So they're very, very attentive. And for the advertiser, they get that undivided attention. And at the end of it, because we know whether or not somebody's standing in front of the device, we hold the last screen for the advertiser for the lesser of 15 seconds or until the person walks away. So if they want a call to action, they can pop their phone out, scan a QR code, a coupon code, whatever it might be, and take advantage of that call to action and really see an ROI on their investment when it comes to advertising.
Right. So for our brands, like for example, here the people that are here, whether they have a service or a brand, potentially they could reach out to you, and work on some potential advertising and things like that to
Definitely.
capture the attention of these people, like you're mentioning Mohegan Sun. If you're an emerging brand, 30,000 people looking at you for 15 seconds, undivided attention. That'd be fantastic. So,
Yeah, there's no fraud, there's no
who's the
nothing.
Who's the LinkedIn user, Alex? Do you?
That's what I'm looking
I'm
to
trying.
I
find
need
right
this
now.
device.
This is
Yeah.
Mitch Bernstein,
Mitch Bernstein. There you
and that's
go.
with a
Yeah.
CEO of NYC Pressed Juice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Expo
it's
West Bay.
definitely
Yeah. I
great in the
mean,
restaurant space for sure. I mean, when you think about it,
trade shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trade shows, high volume of people coming from all over the world, bringing with them all sorts of different bugs and viruses on their devices, right? And so we did do a deal with Purell where Purell comes with every device, but we're agnostic to which hand sanitizer you use. But while they have their phone in there, they sanitize their hands, and you really complete the cycle. We just met with the CDC 2 weeks ago, and the big flaw in washing your hands is if you pick up your phone right after you wash your hands, you have a 52% of immediate recontamination. So if you
Mhm.
think about it, like you mentioned, the kitchens, if that chef is downtime and he picks up his phone and then he goes back to cutting chicken or things like that, salmonella, E. coli, all the gnarly things that are out there.
Right. And so from the benefit for, let's say a brand, whether, we're talking like the ones that are on the show, right, or
Yep.
Prana or, Gavin with Cloudwater, is that they can contact you and they can get an ad on these machines, right, that are in certain areas. Now, are you in any retail accounts that would be of value to like a food and beverage brand?
Yeah, so we're just announcing WH Smith signed a deal with us. So we'll be in 38 airports, 75 different resorts across the country, about 250 units in that travel and leisure airport. There, WH Smith owns like InMotion, iStore, competitor to Hudson News of the world. So you have those opportunities where you want to get in front of the travel and leisure and folks, business travelers, and what have you. The brands also get the opportunity where they can sponsor the unit. So they actually in the various stores as well. So the store can have it labeled as their own. So WH Smith could have their own label, and we sticker them up for them, and it's all fitting their decor. But also brands can sponsor them. So you could have one that said Coke or Pepsi or whatever it may be, whatever brand wanted to do it, and they can sponsor it as well and get a little bit more. And they can own 100% of the ads that run on it.
Makes sense. I think one more thing that comes to mind before we let you go is that maybe at a trade show booth you can rent it from you
Exactly.
guys, put it there at the
Genius.
table. It's genius. That's why the I named it that. But essentially you get people to come to your booth, clean the phone, which takes probably a minute or two, I imagine,
15
cleaning.
seconds.
15 seconds. Wow, that's quick. And so
Yeah.
you can get people there and you can even advertise, hey, you want to clean your phone, come to our booth and then chat with us. And buyers could come there, investors can come there. So how much is it to like rent a unit, let's say?
So we do different packages. You reach out to us. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can go to iCleanse.com and
Okay.
and request a demo there. We do have some deals where we're doing like sponsorships of shows where we put them in all the like registration areas and across all the public areas throughout the show. And then the show actually rents them to the various booths as well, but then they cross advertise with their sponsors on all the screens across the show. So it's an extra advertising model for the person putting on the show or the company putting on the show.
Makes sense. And last
Right.
question, really quick, Wade. I just wanted to point this out. Can you make it longer so people look at the ads longer?
We can make it longer. We don't recommend it only because it's if you were me and you've seen all these people and the anxiety that sets in after 15 seconds of not having their phone, but you can go as long as like in different hospitals they'll do 30 seconds or 60 seconds.
Okay.
But we typically just see 15 seconds.
Cool. All right. So if anyone
Yeah,
wants
and
to
it's
reach
full
out to you,
video, just so you know.
full video. Got it.
Awesome.
Yep.
So if anyone wants to
Awesome.
reach out to you, there's obviously iCleanse.com, and also they can message you on LinkedIn. It's under Christopher, right? Christopher Allen
Yep.
on LinkedIn, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you
Awesome.
for
Awesome.
sponsoring the show, for telling us about it. I'm sure brands will be reaching out. And again, stay tuned because at the very end of this episode, we're giving away one of the units for 60 days, and you can use it for whatever events you want. And just make
Yep.
sure not to damage it when you're using it, right?
Yeah. No
Right
worries.
on.
All right.
Awesome.
Great,
Well, thank
guys.
you,
I
Thank you,
Chris.
appreciate
Chris.
it.
You
Thanks,
got it.
everybody.
Take
Appreciate
care.
you.
Have a great
All
day.
right.
Happy
Have a
Friday.
good
You
weekend.
too.
All right. So I wanted to kind of shift the gears here, Wade, because work with Wade, right? Hashtag work with Wade. You're looking at,
Hashtag work with Wade.
and on one side, I'm promoting you. On the other side, I'm also wanting to talk about consulting and what brands need to look for in consultants and what's a sign of a great consultant, what consultants should do when they're, in their daily business and they're advising brands. So, what do you think makes up a really solid consultant? What do you look for? What has worked for you? Because you've worked with
Mm.
consultants in the past. I think it's a good topic because a lot of brands hire consultants, especially young brands, emerging brands that don't have the money to hire a full-time salesperson, full-time CFO, full-time marketing person. So they're fractional typically when you're a young brand to save money, and you want to see how they are and how they do. So, in your opinion, what has worked in your experience as far as being a consultant? What do you look for?
Hmm. What do I look for? Or I look at it from either side, what the consulting that I've done or what I look for. But I think first and foremost, it's just a clear expectation on both sides of the desk what the consultant is going to provide, right? What if I'm a brand or I'm the consultee? Is that a thing? And consultee and the consultant, I don't know, however you want to say
The
it.
client, the
What am I
client,
what am I looking for from a consultant?
right?
As a client, what am I looking for? What and how is the consultant going to provide that, right?
Hmm.
And that transparency, and it has to be measurable, right? I mean, whether it's we could talk about sales, we could talk about time, we can talk about various strategy, whatever it is. Can you measure what you're expecting that consultant to provide? And it has to be money well spent. And I've seen different models, and I know you could speak to this, whether you're talking about hourly rates, whether you're talking about a monthly rate. But what in that monthly rate, what is the agreement for it? Is it set amount of time? Is it X amount of phone calls? Is it, what are the expectations? Clear and just very much so. And I think for me, obviously, I want to know who you've consulted with previously. I want there has to be some reviews, or in my case, whether it's my reputation or something that I've done, something, some kind of track record that I know what I'm doing, and I can provide value to you, or your brand, or service, whatever you want to talk about, right?
Right.
So with from your side, Alex, I know you're doing a lot of this right now, right? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big question that I knew you were going to flip back and ask me. So I was thinking while you were talking, I was listening, but also thinking of what is my response going to be. Now that I'm doing a lot of consulting, right, through Genius Dreams, my consulting, little agency here. Um, I think number one, being responsive within 24 to 48 hours. Consultants being a great listener. So you're listening to what their issues are, because the better you can listen to your client, the better you can help them, right? Because you're not just in your own head. Some consultants kind of come out the gate firing, right? Like, oh, this is what you should do this, to X, Y, and Z. But really listening and taking that time to fully understand the business, the operations, the story, the people, the culture before coming back with advice is really, really key. And in my world, I mean, this is really what I think about. You want to blow the client away. You want them to be so impressed by what you are doing and how on it you are and how responsive you are, and how great of a listener you are, that they can't help but refer you to others. Because that's how consultants build their business, organically.
Word of mouth. Word of
Word
mouth.
of mouth. They do such a great job. They help that brand that they're going to be referred to other companies naturally because they love them so much. But also, numbers don't lie. There needs to be something concrete where someone's paying a consultant because they have 15, 20, 10, 15, 20 years plus experience. That's why they pay so much for a consultant. So it's quality over quantity. The consultant needs to understand what the pain points are for the business and make the right advice that, at the end of the day, the bottom line, saves the company money, time, resources, and also avoid making mistakes. I think that's a huge thing for consultants to point out. Like, maybe you shouldn't do that because that could cause you to lose money and actually backtrack. But I'm reading this book. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a consulting book that you want to come across. Not that you're telling someone what to do. They're not telling your client what to do. You're giving advice and guidance and letting them make the decision for themselves. So you're empowering your client to make the best decision, based on all the facts that the consultant presents. So that's how I run my business.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense. In looking at it from a standpoint, I've had this conversation. Just an update of where I am in my journey, what I'm doing. As I mentioned, I finish up next week here in my current role before I venture off into the unemployed until I figure it out. But I'm having a lot of conversations with brands, with companies, with a number of different avenues that I might go, and basically I liken it to speed dating, where there's an initial conversation. What are you looking for? Both sides, right? What am I looking for? What are you looking for? Does it make sense? And just having a lot of conversations initially, so that whenever I finish up and I can have more meaningful conversations, if it makes sense to have a second one, we can proceed that way. But I've had a couple conversations with brands talking about just consulting in general, not necessarily just me, just widespread. And I think especially emerging brands, right? Brands that aren't far down the road in their journey and are looking for that, whether it's strategy, whether it's sales help, whether it's just overall retail help. They have to be receptive to what the consultant has to say. Meaning, if you're paying money for a consultant, you're doing it because you want that advice or that help in whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the analogy I've been giving is like, that with emerging brand, and you can relate to this, right? The product, your brand is your baby, right? And no one likes being told that their baby's ugly, or that their baby's not the best football player or the best cheerleader, the best dancer, the best anything. But that, to me, a consultant, when you ask what makes a good consultant, is being that person that's like, hey, this is what you need to do based on my experience, right? And there's got to be some give and take, and sometimes it's a hard answer, and it's hard to be told that something you don't want to hear. But I think it's important that you be receptive to listening to what that advice is, right?
Exactly. 100%. You have to be receptive because you're paying good money to listen to someone and get advice from them and guidance to better your business, save money, and scale your business, sustainably. Just want to pause for a second, and we're going to go through some of the comments here from Waleed, from Gavin, and also Allison Clay. We have our ongoing sponsors, right? We have V Driven and also Range Me. For Range Me, you can see the QR code here if you're watching live. In the bottom left corner, you can scan that and go directly to a landing page and get discounts on their premium and pro subscriptions. Make sure to mention CPG Vibes in the discount box to claim your discount. And then V Driven, you can go to vdriven.com and make sure to mention CPG Vibes 25 if you'd like to hire them and get 25% off. So let's go through some of the comments here. This is from Gavin Conkle. So it says a consultant needs scope. What area does the company need solved? Communication is very important, and what that person can solve or give advice for solving. I think that's part of the, what I was mentioning, the listening part. Like, you go into this saying, okay, tell me your pain points, tell me what's going on in your business, what are areas that you really need help in, and let me focus in and dig in on that. But that's definitely 100% hit the nail on the head, Gavin. A consultant needs to know exactly what they're dealing with before they go in and start patching things up and making recommendations. Waleed Nasruddin, who has his own consulting firm, he's sponsored the show in the past, and he has a firm for operations, consultant operations,
Supply chain operations. Yep.
and supply chain. So he's saying also help solve problems they didn't know they had, which is so key, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. A large benefit to consultants is their experience and ability to navigate around the roadblocks others don't see coming. And I think when you're a brand that's like just starting or is very, very young, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what's coming. You don't know there's going to be landmines all over the place, especially in CPG. There's going to be chargebacks. There's going to be trucking logistics issues. There's going to be free fills and slotting fees and all sorts of things you kind of heard about, but you don't know when it's coming and how big it really is. And that's where a lot of brands go out of business. They don't realize the amount of chargebacks and fees in this business that just crushes your margin. And then you're left with no money and a very scaled back margin, right? It's compressed. So the best consultants can see things coming from a far away But I will say this, what I've discovered with consulting as well is sometimes you need to push back hard, right? Like there's times where you need to take a stand and say, listen, I know you want to go in this direction and I respect that, but I want to help your business and save your business and help you make money. I strongly recommend, I can't force you, strongly recommend, I'll be annoying to go this direction and not that direction, or maybe wait on that retailer activation because you don't have the money to support 3,000 new stores, right? Across Kroger and Albertsons or whatever it is. So the consultant, I think the best consultants know when to hold them and know when to fold them. They know when to push and they know when to pull back. I think that's really important.
Thought you were going to sing the rest of the gambler song there for a second.
Got to
but,
know
I thought
when
that's
to
where
hold them.
I thought that's where you were headed, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't want to get
Got
into
it.
karaoke here, man, because once I get going, I can't stop. So
Yeah,
so yeah,
there's a long comment here, and I know we want to get the next segment
yeah,
because we're
it's a
almost
long
wrapped
one,
up.
taking up the
But
whole
it's good.
screen.
It's good. It's good. The client needs to appreciate the objectivity and emotional detachment and more
Yes,
global macro advantages and knowledge basis. The client should never hire a consultant if they do not want nor can emotionally accept the consultant's honest assessment and suggestion. The consultant's detachment from the emotional and person and ego component of an individual business equals the benefit of hiring consultant. And Alex, did you pull up to see? Is that
Mitch
um,
Bernstein.
it is still Bernstein? Okay, yeah, and but spot on.
Spot
That's
on, man.
fabulous,
Yeah,
fabulous.
you
Yeah,
got to take your ego and emotions out of it. That if someone doesn't go with your advice, you don't see that as a personal attack. This is as from the consultant's point of view. You don't see it as a personal attack. You don't see it as putting you down. Your job is to guide them, and then they make the final decision, right?
bingo.
Yep. All right. So I think that was, these are examples of really good topics that we go over that are really relevant to the CPG industry and things that brands are facing all the time, plus all the consultants that are on the show, from, Sean Berg and, and then Robert Kogan, consultants / distributors, right? It's good to see both sides of the table. So,
Right. And if there's ever a topic that you'd like to talk about or you'd like us to talk about rather,
yep,
you can message Alex, you can message myself, you can email the show cpgvibes100@gmail.com. Just send us a direct message. Anything, just Newtopia was a topic that was mentioned this week that people wanted to talk about, so we hit that. But anytime there's something you'd like to talk about, just let us know.
got it. All right, so we're going to go into, and we're going to mention the sponsors at the end of the episode here, but wanted to go into our next segment, which is called Try Anything. And this is where we try products that we've never tried before live, and we give you our honest assessment. So we even have a bucket here in case, we spit it out, right, Wade? So, but hopefully we don't have to with these.
I was gonna say this week I don't have anything new, so I'm gonna sit back and watch you try anything, and this might be good must see TV here.
Yeah, it reminds me of the. I don't know if we need a copyright for this. We might get a call from their lawyers, but the Disney movie Zootopia, right?
Right.
Try anything. So we can't use that song because we'll get freaking sued, right? So this is Half Day Peach Iced Tea. You guys heard of this brand? I'm sure you have. You've seen it on LinkedIn. I picked it up at, where did I get this? Maybe Erewhon or something. I got it somewhere in a natural store in LA. And it's a prebiotic iced tea. So it's like a classic Americana iced tea with prebiotics. Only 3 grams of sugar. And it's pretty clean. Filtered water, green tea, organic prebiotic fiber, peach juice concentrate, lemon juice, apple juice, and then it has organic peach flavor and stevia. So I'm going to crack this open. I'm going to take a little swig of water to clean my palate. If anyone's had this product, please shout out. But I've heard so much about this. I'm just really excited to try it. Let's see here. So this is the peach iced tea flavor. Smells like peach, as it should.
Very good.
Wow. What's great about this? The packaging is great. Number one, Half Day. It's sweetened, but not too sweet. And the stevia is not overwhelming. It could be a little sweeter. It's a little bit watered down. but it's an iced tea. So iced teas are supposed to be a little more mild in flavor. So for that, I mean, comparing it to an Olipop or Poppy, which can be very sweet to some, I thought they nailed it. This is nailed.
Nice.
The packaging is fantastic. It's on point. I haven't tried their other flavors yet. Obviously, it's the first time trying this brand. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's fantastic.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, it's different. I when I first had it, I'm like, it's not that sweet. But iced teas are not supposed to be too sweet. It's lightly sweet. So
unless you live in the South and it's sweet tea.
That's true. Yeah, or the Thai iced tea. Have you had that stuff before?
I've not.
It's like 50 grams of sugar in like one iced tea. The other one I'm going to try here really quick because I make sure we don't run over time is Junie. So this is run by a guy named Jay Shetty, who's a podcast host, and he's interviewed, I think Oprah and a lot of celebrities. I'll do this really quickly. This is the raspberry, has sparkling tea with adaptogens, organic. I give this probably a 7.5 out of 10. It's a little bit bitter. It's not sweetened. It's 0 sugar, which I don't agree with. I think you should have a little sugar in there, right? Some kind of sugar to sweeten it up. But it has all the probiotics. It has the adaptogens. It just doesn't taste very appealing. I probably wouldn't be able to crush this in one sitting. So 7.5 out of 10 for Junie, but I love the concept and I love the benefits of it. So there you go.
Nice.
So let's go into our next segment, right? Which is going to be stuff we love, right? So yep. I'm gonna let you take this one.
All right. I'll do it quick because I know we're coming close on time, but I've been digging this, and as you can see, it's almost gone. This is Philosopher Foods sprouted almond butter, and this is the Crunchy Alchemy. Just a little take on nut butter, but it's sprouted, which is a little bit different. And yeah, there might be a tablespoon or so left. Great stuff. Philosopher Foods out of Santa Cruz, California, and it's organic. It's fair trade. I'm trying to see if there's any other certifications here that I should mention. I don't think so. Regenerative organic. So yeah, good stuff. Have you heard of it?
I've never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, it's so the nuts are dehydrated instead of being roasted. The sprouted aspect, it makes them sweeter, more digestible, and more nutritious. So definitely would encourage you to check it out.
Cool. And then they asked how many grams of caffeine in the half day. I don't see it anywhere. I don't think there's any caffeine in this stuff at all. So yeah, there you go. I mean, there has to be. There's green tea, right? If there is, I'm not seeing it on here at all. Okay. So, and then the stuff we love very, very, very quickly. This stuff is fucking amazing. This Kin Euphorics, it is fantastic. And like, I got it from Sprouts. It's in their innovation set. A functional beverage for modern rituals. It's caffeine-free, AB-free 0.0, 8 ounces. So I love how it's a smaller can. It's easy to consume. It just has all these ingredients that are highly functional. And that day, I was pretty not feeling great. I was kind of high strung, and I had this euphoric drink, and naturally just brought me down back to earth. It was really good. Have you had this before?
I believe that I've tasted it. I don't think I've, at a show or something, but yeah, it's from what I remember, it's very tasty. But off the top of my head, I can't tell you what flavor, because there's more than one, right?
Yeah, there's like a grounding one. There's one that's energy. There's one that's focus.
Yeah, I can't remember which one I had.
Yeah, it kind of went from like natural hippie stores, and now it's like in Sprouts, So I think the adaptogen market has grown considerably, but the packaging is also just unreal. It's just really, really good. Gavin Conkle said a 7.5 sounds like a 3.5. Well, I'm a nice guy. What can I say? Couple other comments. Alex said, so it's got to be a 10 out of 10.
We're gonna lose our PG rating real quick here.
That's it. It has been changed on Apple Podcasts, effective immediately to a mature audience only. All right, so the last part of our segment is going to be Friday Freebies, sponsored by iCleanse.
Friday Freebies.
All right, you want me to take this?
Yep, and then we'll talk about our ongoing sponsors as well. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So this again, this is the free customized demo unit for 60 days with unlimited disinfection for staff or customers, $5,000 value with free shipping, installation, and customization. iCleanse Swift UV transforming the grocery experience by offering shoppers a swift 15-second smartphone disinfection service. iCleanse, they're elevating the shopping experience, marrying health safety with engaging place-based advertising. The Swift UV is bringing convenience, safety, and innovation to every aisle. Learn more at iCleanse.com. So, Alex, do you have a question?
What's funny is I was so busy just keeping up with all the changes on our show that I have
I've got it.
nothing
I've
on
got
my
it.
notepad. So tell
Okay.
me.
So when Chris Allen from iCleanse, this is pretty easy if you've been paying attention. So just remember, you want to either be in an office building or be able to gift this to someone that can get this in a high traffic location that actually has people coming in to use the unit. So keep that in mind if you answer this question. But I'm going to give him a two-parter, but I think it's easy if you were paying attention when Chris was on the show. So he mentioned a place in Connecticut where they have a unit, and over a 3-month period, they had a certain number of disinfections take place. So, where's the place, and what was the number of disinfections that have taken place in that 3-month period? That's my
Wow.
what's my question, Alex?
I have no idea. I don't know either of those. Maybe
I
I'm
know both
just,
of them. So if
yeah,
it's too hard, we'll see. We'll see what comes up. So, real quick, I wouldn't be Wade Yenny if I didn't say that this weekend is WrestleMania weekend. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So Gavin has Gavin. It's Gavin,
Gavin
Mohegan Sun,
and
and
Gavin
30,000. 30,000. That's right. So
all over it.
Gavin, Gavin, you don't have to tell us now, but just let us know where you're going to put this thing or who you're going to gift it to or whatever. So just email the show, let Alex or I know. But yeah, WrestleMania weekend, Alex. So that's if you're going to ask me what I'm doing this weekend, that would be it.
That would be it. Awesome, awesome. I know that also on either Hulu or maybe Peacock. I can't remember which one, but they have every WrestleMania since the
Peacock.
beginning.
So
Peacock.
so so the WWE had their own streaming network, and then Peacock. I think it's been a year, maybe 2 years ago, bought the licensing rights for that. So the WWE streaming network went away, and
Mhm.
all that content became part of Peacock. So if you pay the Peacock monthly subscription, you get all that content included. All the WWE content is included with the Peacock subscription. So yeah.
Got it. And that's also weekly shows as well, like Raw and all that stuff.
No. So they have different licensing rights for that. So Raw is on USA and SmackDown currently is on Fox. But I think beginning of 2025, Raw is coming to Netflix. So they
Interesting.
portion it
Interesting.
out. They portion it out. The old episodes are on the network, but the current content is licensed out differently. So
It
yeah,
says
I did. Allison
yep.
said I did see that. He's Andrew at Arbos is awesome. I
Yeah,
did
I
see
saw
that.
that too.
Yeah,
Where they're
yeah,
pointing or
I actually
whatever.
commented on
Yeah.
it. It was fantastic. Great
Yeah.
stuff.
Couple other comments here. Then we're also going to mention our ongoing sponsor as well before we're out. I'm going to gift it to myself and put it in the garage and use it every single day. Gavin, you do whatever you want with that thing. Just make sure that it gets back in one piece. Um, so, and then James Pippin here. Allison is absolutely right. Got to check that out. Yep. So, just again, our ongoing sponsors, and I'm going to flash this again. This is what we do for our sponsors here. So, Range Me, brand new sponsorship, just started this week, effective April 1st. Make sure to scan that QR code. You can go to a landing page where you can actually redeem many different savings for their memberships. And they connect you. They have 15,000 different retailers that are on there. If you're a brand, I've heard of so many brands, Wade, that have gone on to Range Me and connected with the buyer, had a meeting with the buyer, got the product in, got a PO. So it really works. There's so many testimonials. Range Me, I think at this point, I think I know they got to be number one as far as connecting brands with retailers on an online format. Plus, they have
Right.
ECRM. Plus, they have ECRM where you can go in to a banquet room, an event, and meet with the buyers in person, and you're connected online. So they have a very robust service, which we fully recommend that you check out. Make sure, again, just go to rangemead.com/CPG vibes to go to that landing page. And our other ongoing sponsor is V Driven. And again, just going to real quick go through it. They're a leading consultant and brand consulting, talking about consultants, and brand management firm specializing in strategic guidance and brand representation for emerging and mid-sized CPG brands, offering services from direct sales to key natural retailers, deduction management, and other tangible solutions. They are offering 25% off their first month. They're very affordable on top of that. And go to vdriven.com. There's also a scheduling link, which Wade will put up there to schedule a call directly either with Luke Abbott, the CEO, or someone else that's very most likely at the top of the chain over at V-Driven. So,
Right.
And then this weekend, my sister's in town. So we're just going to be hanging out. We're going to go to Dave & Buster's with her son, my nephew. For those that are not, I think Dave & Buster's is national, isn't it? At this point, they got to be.
I believe so.
Yeah. So it's like an arcade area. And so when Robert Kogan's taking a plane home from CHFA, we'll be at the arcade. And WrestleMania, maybe I'll check it out, right? I wasn't aware that it was this weekend.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Stone Cold. I know he's not going to be there, but I remember those days.
But The Rock will be.
The Rock will be. Oh, really?
He's in the Saturday night's portion of the main event. So
wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he's in great shape still. I mean, obviously, he's like the best shape. So, all right. So we're going to see you again, just like usual, next Friday at 2:30, 5:30 Eastern. And then our sponsor next week is Creative Kaiju. It's a weird word, but they are a design agency. We'll tell you more about them, and that will be episode 112 on April 12th. And then the week after that, just as a kind of a laundry list item, we have the April 19th show, which is our Outside the Tank show, which is going to feature Michael Pan, Sean with Pan's Mushroom Jerky, Sean Riley with Dude Wipes, Jake DeLeon with Vanilla Manila, I believe, Paul Vogue, and he is with Ouroboros. And we also have 2 other female entrepreneurs that we're going to be announcing shortly that are also joining. And these are people that were on Shark Tank. They're going to share their experiences. And that's sponsored by Social Nature. So that's on April 19th. Mark your calendars for that. Give us 5 stars. Again, thank you to iCleanse. And Wade, did I miss anything?
You got it.
Okay, cool. Our firing on all cylinders today. It's this kin stuff, these euphorics. It's working.
There you go.
Yep. All right, everyone. So have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and we will catch you next Friday at 2:30, 5:30 Eastern. And Wade, love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.